Thanks for the support as a channel member, Harold Rotmo. Yeah, I broke the club and German player transfer records. Again. Hello and welcome to Club 5, Part 5 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a Bundesliga game away against Bayer Leverkusen, a Bundesliga game that could see us go top of the league as we continue to claw back the at one time 10-point lead that Borussia Dortmund had. As you can see, that lead is now down to 2 points. We also play the first leg of the first knockout round of the Champions League away against PSG. That is going to be somewhat more of a tougher challenge. Since you were last with me, this is what's been going on. As you can see, much wins. We are a very good side, and we celebrated by, as mentioned before, breaking the club transfer record, the German league transfer record, and the German player transfer record by finally getting my man. Laszlo Banfalvi is a Bayern Munich player. He cost £158 million to pry away from Spurs, but he is the best centre-back in the world. He's only 26 years old. He's already got 98 caps for world champions Germany, and he's just slotted straight into our defence. He did get injured as soon as he arrived, but he's now slotted straight into our defence. That is the finishing piece, the missing piece of the jigsaw. We've now spent £993 million this year on players. I feel like I should try and squeeze in another £7 million signing just to hit the cool 1 billion. But I think that's close enough to call it £1 billion worth of players signed. So many of them from Spurs as well, who, of course, last time I checked, were top of the Premier League. Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. They've lost half their players. I don't want to talk about it. Stupid idiots. But I'm happy with that. To fund it, we had to move some more players around again. Tete finally completing his move to Swansea. Avramidis, we recalled him from his loan at Paris FC, where he'd been doing very, very well in Ligue 1, and that was enough to secure him a move to China for £50 million and no wage contribution from us as well, which was massive in being able to make that deal happen. He's actually gone to China, taken a pay rise. I mean, that man getting a pay rise was unthinkable 6 months ago, but he did so well in France that he's managed to go off for a pay rise. We also recalled this guy from his loan and did a similar deal, pulled him back from his loan in France, sold him on, used those two chunks of cash to be able to sign Banfalvi. We've also let the young wonder kid winger Pereira go out on loan to Leverkusen for the rest of the season. A lot of people have questioned what this all means for the club finances. So just to confirm, we are still looking good for FFP. I don't understand how Bayern Munich work, because there's no Bundesliga FFP, there's only the Champions League FFP, and we're only allowed a £4.3 million loss. But even with a net transfer spend of about £700 million, we're still projected to make a profit of £337 million. Now, obviously, we've picked up some transfer debt doing all this, and the projection doesn't necessarily indicate profit, but the bar is green, and as long as the bar is green, I'm happy. So I'm choosing not to argue with it, not to think about it. We could achieve all our goals this season and leave at the end of the year and go and manage Real Madrid or someone. So it sounds like someone else's problem. They're concerned about the finances involved in that deal. Well, you would be. It was a very expensive deal, but he was worth it. He's a very good player, and he does meet criteria. He's German. He's now based in Germany again. Does that count? But it's nice to have a board that are just generally pleased with me. And hopefully that continues today. This is the team that's taking on Leverkusen. As you can see, Banfalvi slotted into it nicely. The one issue we've got at the moment is Thorgerson picked up an injury. He's going to be out for another couple of weeks with a groin strain. So Antonio Carlos getting a little bit of a run in the team at the moment. And to be fair, not doing too badly. Got a hat-trick in his last game. Played well against Dortmund a couple of games before in the League Cup, or the German Cup, I guess it is. Where we beat Dortmund. We beat Dortmund 4-0 there. They were happy days. I mean, we have become a very good team, as you would expect after spending the amount of money that we've spent. we've managed to put together a good side. We've got Ferron in goal, a back four of Thumb, Banfalvi, Tigges and Dombrowski. Vermonti at the base of the midfield, Lust and Burke ahead of him. Van der Hoek, Gashi and Carlos are our front three. Let's get into this game with Leverkusen. Let's hopefully continue our winning ways. We are playing a very attacking version of a vertical tiki-taka. Pretty much all-out attack. Well, not all-out attack, the one below that. It's not even called all-out attack anymore, is it? But we're on attacking instruction from the word go the whole time. In fact, blimey. Perhaps we need to take but Leverkusen seriously. They're the second most informed team in the league at the moment, but having a chance to move into top spot is awesome. What I want to do is just say, carry on where you picked off in the last match, because we've been playing so well. Keep the run of form going. But Leverkusen, we've got to keep an eye on. They are down in 7th place in the league, but obviously having a decent run of games at the moment. So this is a potential banana skin for us in this incredible run of form that we've been in, especially with the Paris Saint-Germain game on the horizon. There's the chance that some of our players might be looking a little bit further ahead than just this game. Vermonti plays it forward to Lust. Burke back to Tigges, who knocks it forward, finds Gashi. Gashi just skips past his man like he's not there, does it to another one, tries to find Van der Hoek. There is Van der Hoek, and there is goal number 1. 40 seconds on the clock. Samir Van der Hoek, a 12th goal of the season for him. Can't believe he was out of the team for a little while at the start of the year when I was flirting with that diamond, because he's been fantastic. And as it stands right now, we are top of the Bundesliga for the first time this season, and hopefully the first of many times. I'd like to make a habit of being top of this league. I think it's a nice place to hang out. Obviously, Dortmund do still have the game in hand on us, so we'll presumably jump back above us again after this game. That is, if we win this game. Ferron having to make a very good save there. It's an offside anyway, but Leverkusen just showing me a little bit of a warning. Obviously, they've got our wonder kid winger in their team, Pereira, because clearly in Germany, it doesn't matter. You can play your parent clubs, which I didn't realise until I've just seen him in their team. So we're getting a proper chance to have a look at him as well. Dombrowski is probably going to have problems with him. There is Pereira. So if he's awesome, we know that he can come and properly challenge Van der Hoek for the place on the left wing next year, which will be lovely. But I don't want him to be too awesome today. And there's Pereira, and he scored. Of course he has. Scored against his parent club. Well, I think he's probably just earned himself a sacking there. The idiot. What's he doing scoring against us? What's he thinking? This isn't how to endear yourself to the Bayern Munich fans. Scoring against us. You turd. I don't like him. Right. Now we need to take the lead again. Let's get creative. Like I said, Leverkusen in good form. Interestingly, their form coincides with him arriving. That's his 3rd goal as well. He only arrived in January, so it looks like he's got in there as a bit of a star man for them. Perhaps he should be in and around our team. But to be fair, on our left-hand side, we've got Van der Hoek as a starter, and then Rex Hepi, I think that's how you say his name, as our backup left winger, who's also a wonder kid on the left wing. So we've got 2 left wing wonder kids. Gashi's intercepted here, though, and Gashi scores. That's a 10th goal of the season for him. I think our winger's just trying to send a message to their winger that our wingers are pretty good. Gashi in particular, one of the best players in his role in the world. Again, can't believe I was wasting him playing him as striker for 3 or 4 games. How different might things have been if we'd have switched to this system just a smidgen sooner? I got there in the end. You've got to give me credit for getting there in the end. Sometimes these things take me seasons to figure out. It's taken 20 games to figure out how to make Bayern Munich a good team. And even if we manage to slip up and not win the league this year, I don't think there's any doubt at all we win the league by miles next year, unless there's a huge amount of investment in Dortmund, presumably, as the team most likely to chase us. But we'll just do Bayern things, i.e. sign their best players, like we did this summer. They've scored again. I'm trying to build a dynasty here, and these upstarts keep scoring goals against me. I don't care for it. Let's have a look at it from there. I can't remember the last time somebody scored 2 goals against us. This doesn't bode well going into the PSG game, because obviously they are going to be the first big threat we've had in a long, long time. And having to do it without Thorgerson is not ideal. Antonio Carlos not having a good game today at all, and we don't really have a 3rd striker. Our 3rd striker would be Gashi, and we'd bring Del Bueno, I think that's his name, as our backup, again, wonder kid right winger who can come on for Gashi and take over that role, which is why I was so comfortable letting Tete go. Vermonti's playing with fire a little bit here at the base of the midfield. He's on a yellow card and he is, oh, goodness me. He did well in the end, but good job he's as good as he is, because it was a very risky move going in with a slide tackle when he's already on a yellow card. Losing him at this stage of the game in such a key position would be very problematic when it's 2-2 and Leverkusen are in the ascendancy and Pereira has just hit the post again. It was a good save from our keeper, just managing to tip it onto the post, but Pereira for them has been as good as anybody in our team, if not better than most of them today. He's having a fantastic game. We've got a good young talent there. Mental note, don't loan them out to other teams in the Bundesliga from now on, because this happens. Pereira involved very much in that move again. Can we have him back now? Can we take him back now and just bring him into our team? Is that doable? Or at least insist that he pretends to be injured. That's what I'd do in real life. Right, we are going to bring Del Bueno on. Push Gashi up front. Del Bueno comes on that side. Dombrowski not having the best of games, so Kryzu can come on for him. And then, oh no, not cancel, you buffoon. What are you doing? What are you doing? Right, let's do all that again. He comes on for him. Then that happens. We're fixing the right-hand side. Incidentally, the right-hand side, the side that's been terrorised by Pereira throughout this game. So he's causing them both to struggle. Both of the players. I mean, Gashi wasn't struggling. We stuck him up front. But, you know, let's have the narrative. Our youngster has forced us to change our system around. Lust is in here. Lust can't quite get any power behind that shot. I think it's offside anyway, so I'm going to assume that's why he deliberately didn't put any power behind it. This is disappointing. This is our first opportunity of the season to go top. And at the moment, it looks like we're going to not win for the first time in a long, long time. Thumb plays it forward to Gashi. Gashi hits the post. It was a lovely effort from Gashi. Del Bueno picks up the scraps and it's back to Kryzu, who is in a crossing position, but apparently chooses not to cross, which is an interesting little choice he's made there. Right, I'm going to get Marquez on. I know we've got Andre down there as well, but Marquez has scored so many goals this season, bursting through from midfield, that I think he's the most likely to make the breakthrough. We're going to ask for some passion. Del Bueno is in possession, plays it back to Kryzu. Cross comes in, Van der Hoek's there, and Van der Hoek scores. Is it on? It's offside, isn't it? It felt a little offsidey. We're going to the little telly, but I think it has been disallowed. How offside is he here? Not very, but probably offside enough for it to be a thing that has cost us a goal. But we're in their half again, although it's them who've got the ball. So I'm not quite sure whose highlight this is going to become yet. There's Pereira again, but Del Bueno takes it off him brilliantly. Plays it into Gashi, who it was a poor pass and Gashi just couldn't get hold of it. And now it's cleared again, looking for Pereira, but Kryzu nods it down to Vermonti, who gives it back to Del Bueno, who's looked very lively since he's been on. Beats his man. Cross comes over, looking for Van der Hoek, knocks it down to Marquez, and that's why we brought him on. Rodrigo Marquez, an 11th goal of the season for him. And that should be enough now to put us back at, well, not even back at the top of the Bundesliga, to put us to the top of the Bundesliga. Leverkusen have been the biggest fight that we've had in a long, long time. They look like a good side. I don't know how they're down in 8th place in the league, but I think we have probably now just about done enough. Gashi there from the corner, but Leverkusen have a late break on here. There's still a couple of minutes left, and they are clear down this right-hand side, and he's in acres of space, and that's a very good counter-attack, and we're not top of the league. Leverkusen are a good team. 3-3 now. And maybe our gung-ho attacking style away from home wasn't the best idea. There were several opportunities there probably to drop back to a more conservative system. I didn't. And we need to use that as a lesson learned for Paris Saint-Germain. We can't go there and attack like that. And I mean, every time we scored, they came back at us. We are very good going forward, but with our fullbacks pushing forward the way they do, we did leave ourselves a little bit, 18 games unbeaten. We left ourselves a little open at the back there. Hopefully that doesn't cost us when we get towards the business end of the season. But now all eyes on Paris as we try and not embarrass ourselves. It's going to give us a good idea of just how good we are. We know we're the best team in the Bundesliga. How do we weigh up against one of the best teams in Europe? So in an effort to try and prove I've learnt my lesson, we have dropped down to a balanced mentality for the PSG game. I've also put Ryzen in at left back with Thumb dropping down to the bench. Tigges is unhappy because we signed Banvalvi, despite the fact that we brought him in to partner him. They also play together at the back for Germany. They're the same age. They've played together many times. I don't know why he thinks he's being replaced. I know we've still got this guy knocking around as well, who is the young pretender. But you know, the three of them could play together. Both Haman and Tigges can play there as well. They're kind of our backups in that role. We've got some strength in depth at the back now, and he's got a big grumpy on about it, and he needs to pack it in. Right, let's get into this game. Let's go take our medicine against Paris Saint-Germain. Let's find out how good we really are. I would much rather be doing this with Thorgerson in the team, but apparently that's not an option. They've got some fella called Haaland, who I hear is quite good. Several former Spurs links, Diaz and Haaland, both former Tottenham before I arrived, but former Tottenham all the same. I mean, one thing, looking at all the actual real faces they've got, suggests this is probably quite an ageing team now, because we're in 2029 or 2030, so we're a good 10, 11 years in the future. It's going to be interesting to see how our newly refreshed, very young Bayern Munich team can get on against what presumably is a team that's half full of players in their 30s at this point. Even someone like Haaland at this point must be... Oh, I've clicked on him. He is 30 years old. Of course, he's going to score now. I don't even... What was I thinking? Why did I do that? Bentancur, I tried to sign this summer. He was available on a free transfer. I think he left. I think he was at Liverpool and left there, but he wasn't interested. I wanted to bring him in on trial, and he wasn't having any of it, so he just signed permanently for them, which is probably fair. Probably should have just offered him a contract. But then looking at my team, I don't think I'd be able to fit him in somewhere. Lust with the corner, and it's a break for Paris Saint-Germain. We saw how badly we can be affected by counter-attacks in the last game. This is a lightning quick counter-attack. In the end, he's taken that a little wide, and Banvalvi, with a little bit of hesitation, has managed to get it clear to touch. Banvalvi didn't really look entirely confident dealing with that, which is a little bit unusual for him. Van der Hoek, what a free kick, and it's bobbling around in the area, and there is Tigges, and that's an incredibly important away goal for us. Half an hour on the clock in the Parc des Princes. It's PSG 0, Bayern Munich 1, and we have an away goal, which is going to be absolutely crucial. Terrible defending from them, but lovely little bit of poaching from Tigges. He can play everywhere. Van der Hoek, corner comes in again. Carlos heading just over. And, I mean, Carlos is always going to be a threat from these set pieces because he's an enormous giant, as is Dombrowski. And, I mean, to be fair, the three of them, plus Carlos, plus Gashi, I think, is quite tall. We've got a lot of good aerial threats from these set pieces. They should be something that is going to cause lots of problems. And Van der Hoek can certainly hit a free kick in a corner. 1-0 up at half time, though, is incredible. I've given them the underdogs team talk because we are the underdogs. We're little old Bayern Munich, and these are big, scary Paris Saint-Germain. I imagine we've won this competition many more times than they have. I mean, I don't know how many times they've won it since the save started, but obviously, historically, I know Bayern are a much bigger team, and us going down to 10 men is a big problem. Burke gets himself sent off, and I don't really know what to do here. I'm thinking we take off Carlos and just go have Van der Hoek and Gashi. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Vermonti, I guess, could come across here. And we could just have these two trying to be the midfield by themselves. Do we drop the wingers back and do that? That probably makes more sense. And then Carlos is just going to be very alone up there on his own. Maybe we leave one of these forward. Maybe if we leave Gashi forward and do that. Otherwise, Carlos is going to be massively isolated. And he's the weak link in this team as it is. Although we spent a lot of money on him, we obviously immediately upgraded him as well. So we don't want him to have to do it all on his own. Lust plays it out to Dombrowski, who's up on the overlap, beats his man, plays it back to Carlos. It was a good effort for Carlos. You got to think Thorgerson scores there, but we did very well to carve out the chance all the same. And do we drop to a cautious system now and just try and soak up pressure and counter-attack? Now we're sitting a little bit deeper. We're gonna, I don't know, Del Bueno is not on the bench today. I want to bring on Andre or Marquez, I think. We're going to bring on Marquez. We're going to stick him up there like that. And we're going to do this. Because Dombrowski, I think, can handle that on his own. Gashi can go up front. And then Lust can potentially come off as well to get Andre on as a better box-to-box midfielder. We should probably have the Mazzala on this side where we don't have a winger. I'm actually thinking about football here. What has this series become? What am I doing? I'm actually thinking about this and trying to tactically mastermind a victory. It's obviously going to go wrong, but at least I'm trying. You've never seen me try with this stuff before. Right, final change. Final change. Dombrowski is tiring, so we can bring on Thumb. We can swap those two over. I know he's called Tomb. If we're properly trying, I should probably pronounce his name right. I'm not going to. He's Thumb. You're lucky he's not the Thumb, because I was very tempted, but I've managed to control myself. Thumb does manage to clear it. Gashi's picked it up and he's trying to turn and keep this counter-attack moving nice and quickly. He's held the ball up very nicely there, actually. Van der Hoek now charging through. He's got options in the middle, doesn't find either of them. Has that gone out for a corner? Or is he shooting there? I think he was shooting, which was absolutely the wrong decision. And now PSG with a corner late on. Marquez sort of tries to clear but doesn't get it very far, but their shot is high and wide. We are doing very, very well with our 10 men. Now we'll drop back to cautious just for these last 5 minutes or so. But I think we have done enough to pick up a very, very well, hard-fought away win in this first leg with 10 men for most of that second half. Burke is literally a Burke, but that's put us in a very strong position for this second leg, which is what we'll have in tomorrow's episode. We'll do the second leg and Fortuna Dusseldorf, and hopefully be in a position where we can get into that, is it the quarterfinal of the Champions League after this? And then hopefully be top of the league by then too. This is shaping up to be the kind of season you'd expect after spending £1 billion. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Couldn't remember how to do the normal outro. What's happening to me? Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. It's because I tried at the game. I can't try at the game and do the content at the same time. It's one or the other. Thank you very much for watching.